This is Will at Smartphone Medic, here again with the retro mode bug. I'm going to demonstrate how to fix it on an iPhone 5S, which I have had several people asking for in the comments of my last video. Now, as you can see, the date is set to December 31st, 1969 at 7 p.m. Now we restart the phone. And once the phone comes back, it will be stuck in the boot loop. There we go. Now the tools you'll need are a pentalobe screwdriver for the bottom screws, a Phillips head screwdriver for the internal screws, and a pry tool as thin as you have to get the glass up. Now, as you can see, the phone is stuck in the boot loop. So there are several considerations you need to make when opening a 5S. First off, the home button flex cable is attached to the charge port. So when you open the phone, you cannot open it very far at first. That reminds me, we also need tweezers to get the home button flex off. So you take the pry tool. I always insert it on the bottom right corner, because otherwise you can rip an antenna off the headphone jack. So you just insert it into the frame and pry up, and it should catch. So then you insert it and pop the glass up, like so. Then you slide it down and pop the other corner out. This here is the antenna I was talking about. So as you can see, there is a flex cable in the way. It is held down with a bracket. Now I know this is a terrible angle to see this, but you need to go in and pry that bracket up and disconnect the cable. Here's where the little bracket went. It usually tends to fly off. You will need that when you put the phone back together. So now we take the plate off of the battery. And again, do not use a metal tool when you're doing this. I prefer to use my fingers, but in the event that I can't use my fingers, what I will use is a spudger. Okay, I had to go get a spudger. You don't want this to spark. There we go. Leave the battery out for about 15 seconds is generally what I recommend. You can push the power button if you like. That can drain some more power off the motherboard. Then you reconnect the battery. Take the plate, put it back on. And screw it back down. Now, it isn't vital that you keep the screws in the same holes, but as with iPhones, especially when you're dealing with this plate up here, you need to make sure that the screws go in the correct holes, because you can damage the motherboard otherwise. Finally, as you close it up, you grab the connector, here it is right here, with the tweezers, and attach it to its port right here on the charge port. Here, I'll bring it up closer so you can see it. So, this is a delicate task. You have to make sure that it connects solidly. Okay, once it is connected, as you can see, it is rather hard to see. You take the plate, the little tab on it needs to point outward to the bottom of the phone. You insert it with the tab up to hook it on and push it down with your finger. Again, that's really hard to show with this camera angle, but once it is properly inserted, it looks like that. Finally, you take the screen and you insert it so it acts like a hinge as it closes down on the phone. And there it's closed. Now you take your bottom screws with your pentalobe screwdriver and you reinstall them. And finally, you turn on your 5S, and there's the Apple screen. And at this point, your phone will be unbricked. Now we'll wait for it to turn on. It can take a little while to boot up, but here let's make sure that it comes on. If it doesn't come on, then we have a problem. Okay, as you can see, the screen is flickering a little bit. That is normal. It will go away after a couple of hours. But as you can see, it has reset the time to its previous setting. Now, I have done this while the phone was in airplane mode before, and what happens is it still restores it to the latest time, the last time that it had. So, it shouldn't matter whether you're connected to Wi-Fi or not, as it will only update whenever it's connected, whenever it's set automatically is turned on. So, now you have a working iPhone 5S. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. We'll be happy to help. And hopefully you'll like and subscribe to this channel. We'll have more tips coming for how to fix your iPhone devices.